Hey y'all, hi. It's time for another episode of New Makeup Hot Takes. Before I get into it, I think that this is the last video that's gonna go up during the pre-order window for my book. A lot of you on the launch video, because the website crashed like a couple of hours after I posted that video and then it didn't get up and going again until the next day. A lot of you in that video requested that I come back and remind you while the pre-order window is still open. So I figured that I would do it at the beginning of a New Makeup Hot Takes because I know that a lot of you watched this one. And I wanted to stick it in right at the very beginning in case you click away. Not like any of you ever click away, but you know, just in case this is the one time that you click away. Consider yourself reminded. I'll put the links at the top of the description box. Thank you all so much for your support during this exciting time with the book. And thank you to everyone who has pre-ordered. It has just been the very definition of a dream come true. And speaking of definitions, should we kick it old school with the definition of a hot take? In journalism, a hot take is a piece of deliberately provocative commentary that is based almost entirely on shallow moralizing in response to a news story, in this case a beauty news story, usually written on tight deadlines with little research or reporting and even less thought. I'm going to be giving you my hot takes on new beauty. If this happens to be your first time to my channel, I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you do, I hope you'll consider subscribing. My name is Hannah. I make fashion, beauty, and lifestyle content. I love talking about aesthetics. This is a classic one because we're just talking about the way that aesthetics, trends, and marketing are interlaced. I live for it. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. New makeup, hot takes. New makeup, hot takes. I live for it, but this has been kind of a hard one to get off the ground. Sometimes I come to looking at Trend Mood One, Instagram account that posts about new beauty. I come to it preparing this video and I get all excited and there are all of these things and I'm like, oh, ideas to the left of me, ideas to the right of me, because I get worked up about beauty products. And then once in a while I come to it and I find myself a real bitter Betty on the inside. I'm just scrolling and scrolling and feeling like I have nothing and beauty is giving me nothing and I have nothing to give. That's kind of how I felt when I sat down to prep for this video today. I went to Trend Mood One, I started scrolling and scrolling and I felt like it was giving me nothing. And I was like, give me something that I can use. I was like, just give me something that I can use. I realized that that was how I was feeling. I was scrolling past all of these like huge collections of candy colored cheap things and yet another massive matte colorful eyeshadow palette and Kylie Jenner lip liners and stuff. And I was like, just give me something that I can use. And I thought I wasn't gonna be able to do the video, or I thought I was gonna be here. Like, here are the two things that I kind of feel like I can use. I ended up picking some things, and we'll get to them as I go through, some things to talk about that I picked because I was like, this feels like something I can use. But then as I kept scrolling and thinking, my bitterness wore off and I realized that there are actually hot takes that I have to give. Provocative, possibly. Prepared with a little research and even less thought, possibly. But at least I have them to give. And the first one, and this actually might be something that I could use. It just has to be said. I have to give a take on this. It has to be discussed. Isamaya stepping down off the high horse, humbling herself, and offering this previously $100 penis-shaped lip balm for a perfect, beautiful $34. Exactly what this product should cost. Or was this not the one that cost $100? It was though. It was wildly expensive before. And now it's been reformatted to be refillable, which I love. And there are new shades, and some of them are fantastic. And it's not just the, I don't know, I can't even say scandalousness because it's too silly to be that, but it's not just the gimmick of the shape of the packaging, it's the execution. I kind of love it. I mean, I talked about it before, having somewhat mixed feelings about it, you know, but overall just appreciating the sculptural quality and that it's so well executed. Like, it looks really solid. It's elevated in a way, you know, and at the time I was like, I kind of want one. And you know, I love Isamaya Black Veil, and there is a color in this range that looks like it's kind of the gloss stick version of Isamaya Black Veil, and I love a gloss stick. And I also feel like this is a particularly giftable item. It just makes such a great gag gift, and it fits my personal requirement for a gift, which is that it's like an elevated version of a thing, again, because of the execution. It's just that the price point before was untenable, untouchable, and made it completely absurd. Made it feel like we were being trolled, made it feel like it was some sort of performance art piece, honestly. That is was how I felt about this release before. However, at $34, still a luxury price. I mean, still a lot of money for a single lip product, but at least something we can even consider. At that price, this makes such a great gift and also such a great thing to get for yourself if you want a thing like this. And it is making me kind of want it. I was like, I have nothing to say. Give me something I can use. Everything's garbage. The first thing. I'm talking myself into it. I'm going to sit with those feelings for a while though. I don't tend to immediately act on the desire to buy a thing like this. I definitely give it some time and usually the desire fades and then I'm able to move on without buying the thing. And that's what I prefer. I'm just getting such a kick out of this whole thing. The fact that the price has come down so far, the fact that we're getting to revisit it again, the new marketing imagery, it's just beyond. Okay, here is something that came from my cri de coeur, give me something I can use. As I was originally scrolling and feeling like lost in the weeds, I came across some posts about this brand Phlur, and now that I've said it out loud, I get it. Phlur, like flower in French. It's spelled Phlur, and I had seen it, but I hadn't said it, and now I see Phlur. Okay, I get it, because it's a perfume house. I just have a very hot take about this. It seems like a relatively new brand. I've seen it all over social media. I seem to see a lot of people getting Phlur PR. It looks beautiful, and everybody's obsessed with, there was a scent called Father Figure, I think, with fig in it. Father Figure. Oh, that makes sense now. Wow, I've only been using like the tiniest corner of my brain to process my thoughts about Phlur. And now that I'm bringing it to the front of my brain, I realize what they're trying to do. The question is, for those of you who know, should I give it the time of day? Because when they first showed up, I thought it was just going to be a flash in the pan. And now I'm seeing them everywhere. And I do appreciate scent. They have some holiday candles. I love a holiday candle. I love like a balsam fir holiday candle. How do we feel about Phlur? Anyone? Oh, I have a hot take. I have a hot take about Tom Ford Azure Lime, another scent. So I was scrolling through all this Christmas stuff, holiday stuff, and then I came across Azure Lime. Captures the easy style and relaxed glamour of Mystique, a private island nestled in the Eastern Caribbean. And my first thought was like, this is incongruous, this is unseasonal. I was like, what are we doing, Tom Ford? Everybody else is like snowflakes and balsam fir, and then Tom Ford is like a private island nestled in the Caribbean. And then the other shoe dropped, and it occurred to me to say this as a hot take. This is the thing that cracks me up in beauty marketing at this time of year, and fashion actually. Most people are thinking about and consuming winter goods, but if you're really rich, like if you're like rich, you're on vacation in a tropical location, right? You're buying and wearing the resort collection from a fashion brand, and you're buying Tom Ford Azure Lime. So I feel like there's something hilariously ultra bougie and ultra rich about this marketing that has to do with its unseasonability, the time of year, and what the scent is and what it's for. It's coded. That's what it is. It's like this coded thing. It's like you wouldn't be wanting Tom Ford Azure Lime now in December unless you were that rich and you're going to be actually in the Eastern Caribbean on a private island this holiday season. Okay, this is like a trend spotting thing. I scrolled past these a couple of times and I was just like, no, give me something I can use. And then I was like, well, I do kind of like that kind of thing. And then I realized that I wanted to bring it up as a hot take because it's this thing where everybody's coming out with one. The category is Clickie Gloss Stick. Like click up gloss stick where it's in, I have one right here. I have the Juvia's Place one. So I talked about this last time I did New Makeup Hot Takes. It was newly released and I mentioned it because there was this color that I saw and I was like, that's my color and it's so rare to find. I happened to be in an Ulta that very week and I purchased it and I'm wearing it today. It's a little bit sheer and it's a little bit darker than I thought. The product is darker than the packaging. This is the color Sugar Cookie, but it is a really lovely kind of grayish taupe situation. I'm going to use it to demonstrate what I mean by clicky stick. Did you hear it clicking? And it doesn't roll back down. I think all the clicking is to sort of signal to your brain that it's clicking up and that you shouldn't roll it up too far. You just click it up enough to have product. It's also I'm wearing kind of a thin layer. I mean, you can see the color of my lips through it. It's very plumping. It's claiming to be a plumping, volumizing gloss stick. It's very menthol. It's plumping with tingly, cold, mentholy feeling stuff. My lips feel cold as ice right now because of the tingly mentholy quality. So small review, brief review, my hot take on Juvia's Place Volumizing Gloss Stick. I love the color though. And I mean, I don't mind the tingly thing. And I like the volumizing function. I think that the original of this was Marc Jacobs. Do you remember years ago, Marc Jacobs came out with a thing like this. It was like a gloss stick, a pigmented gloss stick in a little tube that clicked up and that didn't retract when you turned it back down. And it was the first time anyone had come up, I think, with this marketing idea of a gloss stick. Everyone was losing their mind over it, and then everyone was really mad that it didn't click back down. It was like the one drawback of the thing. It came and went, Marc Jacobs Beauty RIP, and now, years later, everybody seems to be doing it. So the other two that I see today are one from Tarte, which is in these really intense pearl and duochrome shades, like really intense. Indigo shimmer glass, pearl shimmer glass. I mean, they're just, it's a very distinct holiday, like snow bunny type makeup that I'm not going to be buying and using, but I'm kind of into the way that they've executed it. And then NYX is also coming out with a fat oil, which is a click stick that has a button at the bottom. I've seen this kind of packaging and this kind of product a lot in K-Beauty as well. That's probably actually where it's originally come from. And am I into it? I think I'm kind of into it. The way that I feel about this sort of thing is that I'm into it when it's not too pigmented, because then it's just like this super pigmented slidey lipstick that doesn't fix very well. When the pigment level is sort of medium and you can sheer it out and it's easy to work with and it's not a mess, I'm pretty into this kind of thing. Does that mean I'm going to be going out and buying this NYX one? No, of course not, because I have one that does exactly what I would want this kind of thing to do and in a really unique color. And, you know, I love that. This could definitely go in that video, desperately searching for interesting colors at the drugstore. When it comes to this being a hot take, though, that helps us not overspend, I think this is one of those situations where it's helpful to spot the trend, because you're like, oh, gloss sticks are all over the place. So if that's the kind of thing you like I do, you can catch yourself when you're like, oh, I really want to try that, or I really want to try that. The NYX one comes out and you're like, oh, that's the kind of thing I really love. If it's the kind of thing you really love, you probably already have one. And if you don't already have one, but you want to try the trend, realizing that it's a trend can help you to survey the field and just pick one, which is actually kind of what I did. Okay, here are a couple of things that made it onto this list for discussion at the beginning when I was first scrolling and crying to the sky, just give me something I can use. Weirdly, this one kind of comes with a caveat. It's the Pat McGrath Nude Venus Lip Trio. I picked it because I can use this, because I like these products and I like the colors, and I saw it and I was like, okay, of all of the garbage that we're scrolling through, here's something that I actually really like the looks of. Like it's this enchantingly kind of pale neutral pink. I usually don't like minis kits, and this was the caveat. This is what gave me pause as I began to talk about it. How mini are they? Yeah, they're mini. Okay, I didn't quite get that. I thought it was just like a kit of the three packaged together for holiday. If they were full size, this is the kind of thing I would love to buy, because it's like these beautiful products. This is a color that I can really use, and it's wearable. That's the thing. I was just scrolling and feeling like nothing was really wearable. Everything seemed so flashy, but something that I might try once or twice and wouldn't really wear the butt out of. These seem like products I would totally wear the butt out of, right? But I don't like minis of bullet lipsticks. I find them really dinky. It's just like this tiny little piece of cream product shoved into this tiny little dinky thing. I've even had Pat McGrath lipstick minis before and ended up decluttering them because I was just like, I can't. I would rather just pay full price and have full sizes of these products. I love the colors that she chose for this little kit. That is something I can use, right? Maybe this just reveals what a boring bee I am right now. But I also singled out, for some reason, what seeming really like something I can use right now are Quints, the eyeshadow Quints. 5 eyeshadows, 5 beautiful eyeshadows together. I'm looking at that and I'm like, aha, this is approachable. This is very beautiful. This seems like the kind of thing a person would buy and then use and use and use and use for real and really, really get good use value out of. I think my reaction to all of the holiday marketing where it's like buy, sell, stuff, is to really want to home in on. I got it wrong last time and many of you corrected me in the comments. I was scandalized. You home in on something like a homing pigeon, but you hone something like you hone your skills. And here I was all these years thinking it was hone in on. The holiday frenzy is making me want to home in on the few things that are in and amongst the frenzy that I recognize as being those pieces of makeup that I imagine a person with my tastes would really get good use value out of. Like you're still using it 2 years later. And it doesn't matter that you bought it during the holiday season, or maybe you bought it over the summer that year or whatever. It doesn't matter when you bought it. It doesn't matter what collection it was a part of, whether it gave you a holiday thrill or not, whether it was on sale or part of a kit or a set or something, doesn't matter. What matters is that you're still using it and loving it years later, and you've used a lot of it, and it's become really a good tool for you. And I feel that these Quints, there's something about them, the neutrality, but the glossy shininess and the luxury of them. These Chanel Quints, or maybe it's just the one, it looks a little different in these two lights. I think that that's the case. This is so pretty to me with that very dark kind of blackened brown in the middle and a glossy taupe. And then also this Byredo Quint. I think any Byredo could potentially fit this description, but this one looks particularly usable. It has that balance of neutral everyday colors with some exciting colors. Looks very editorial. I just feel like these Quints, it's giving me something I can use. Okay, then my last two hot takes are just straight up bona fide old school hot takes. Outlast lip stain from Covergirl. It seems like it was dropped into the present moment from the mid 2000s, 2010, 2000 aughts, the aughts. It seems like it was dropped into the present moment from the aughts. Did I not see an ad for this on my television when I was watching Full House in like 2001? It's a marker that you use to stain your lips, but then it also has a slightly shiny finish and it's totally bulletproof. And the browns, my friends, the browns. I mean, the browns are what this has to recommend it, really. And that one plum color, Brazen Raisin. Wow, Brazen Raisin's kind of calling my name, actually. I started out just making fun of this, and now my interest is piqued. The finish also looks kind of wearable and natural. Non-drying, lightweight, vivid lip stain in a marker pen. And then the last thing is this quite compelling marketing from this brand Vacation that has made a lip oil that they're calling Chardonnay. It's a plumping, glossy lip oil with hyaluronic acids and peptides. It says it has a gourmand caramel vanilla flavor. I'm kind of into that. This golden color of the box and the background, and then the quality of the photography with the model, and then she's on like a phone with a spiral cord. It just caught my eye. I like the way in which this has been executed, but I wasn't even planning to mention in the hot takes, except that I scrolled down and I saw that the top comment says, "This is and I live for that. I absolutely live for that as the top comment on this post. And I just feel like nothing more needs to be said. The top commenter has given the hot take to end all hot takes on Vacation Chardonnay SPF 30 lip oil. And that's going to have to be it, my friends. I guess there were some things that piqued my interest. I talked about Phlur being interesting. What was the thing I kind of wanted at the beginning? Yeah, the Isamaya Lip Balm. I've actually already kind of lost whatever passion I was working up over it when I was discussing it. Overall, it feels like a bit of a lackluster time. And I wonder, in new releases, I wonder if brands brought out their big guns like at the beginning of November, and now there's sort of a lull where it's like, we've released everything we're going to release for the holidays. Or maybe there will be another push right before the end of the year with new stuff. But it feels like we're in this sort of weird in-between time right now where nothing is impressive. But maybe that's just me. Thank you so much for being here with me and watching this video. Don't forget to pre-order the book pronto if it's something you're interested in, because the ordering window will close on December 10th, and then that's it until the book is published next year. And, I'm not sure if they'll print enough copies. I don't know how many extra copies there are going to be. I don't know how many copies on top of what people buy now they will be willing to print. So now is the moment. And also perhaps subscribe if that's something you're interested in. But no matter what, don't forget to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.